A warm greeting. Today is August 30th, 2023. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia speaking. At the time of recording this video, it's 5 in the morning in Florida, where the powerful and intense Hurricane Idalia is about to make landfall. Unfortunately, it has rapidly strengthened over the last 12 hours. Currently, it's a Category 4 hurricane with sustained maximum winds of 130 miles per hour. This is a very challenging situation for the Big Bend region in Florida, as well as for northern Florida and the southern region of Georgia, as this potentially catastrophic hurricane is expected to make landfall over the state of Florida. If we zoom in on the infrared satellite image, we can see that the center of Hurricane Idalia has continued its northeastward trajectory. In about an hour to an hour and a half, it should be making landfall over Florida while continuing to strengthen as it approaches the coast. The National Hurricane Center's 5 a.m. bulletin indicated that it might continue to strengthen until it comes ashore in the Big Bend area of Florida. In this infrared satellite animation, we can see that the northwest quadrant is the most active, generating strong thunderstorms and a lot of lightning activity. These are signs that the rapid strengthening process is ongoing. In the Doppler radar image from Tallahassee, we can clearly see the circulation. An important note is that the eye of this powerful hurricane is incredibly small, spanning approximately 4.5 miles in diameter. This is typical of intense hurricanes. This is an unfortunate situation, as historically, this will be the most intense hurricane to impact this area on record. Despite the small eye and the well-defined eye wall around its center, we can observe the development of a secondary eye wall. This offers a glimmer of hope that it might weaken if the eye wall replacement process begins. However, it's so close to the coast that this likely won't significantly change the intensity at which it makes landfall. Currently, it has sustained maximum winds of 130 miles per hour, but we cannot rule out the possibility of it strengthening to 135 or even 140 miles per hour when it hits the Florida Big Bend. Currently, there are 2 Hurricane Hunter aircraft flying through the circulation to analyze how Hurricane Idalia is evolving. In this graph, you can see that each pass through the center leads to a decrease in the barometric pressure, another indication that unfortunately, it's continuing to strengthen. This is evident in this image as well, with the pressure decreasing from 948 millibars to 946 and then 944. This is a critical situation and a potentially catastrophic event. The 5 a.m. bulletin warns of catastrophic impacts due to flooding caused by the storm surge. A surge of 12 to 16 feet above sea level and destructive waves will affect Jefferson and Yankeetown counties in Florida. Potentially life-threatening storm surge flooding is likely in other areas along the Big Bend coast. Residents in these areas should follow any advisories provided by local authorities. Additionally, there will be potentially deadly destructive winds, especially where the center of Hurricane Idalia passes through the Big Bend region. Hurricane conditions are expected along the west coast of Florida, and these strong winds will also extend further inland to northern Florida and southern Georgia, where a hurricane warning remains in effect. Residents in these areas should be prepared for prolonged power outages. Hurricane-force winds are possible along the eastern parts of Georgia and southeastern South Carolina, where a hurricane warning has also been issued. Urban flash flooding and moderate river flooding are anticipated, with significant impacts from the Big Bend region in Florida to central Georgia, South Carolina, and the eastern part of North Carolina. The circulation of Hurricane Idalia is expected to make landfall soon in Taylor or Dixie County, where the winds will be catastrophic. Here is the latest official projection from the National Hurricane Center. Note that it currently has sustained maximum winds of 130 miles per hour. After making landfall in the Florida Big Bend, it will move into southern Georgia with sustained maximum winds of 100 miles per hour. As it moves over eastern Georgia and southern South Carolina, the sustained maximum winds will decrease to 80 to 70 miles per hour. By Thursday afternoon, it is expected to reach the southern part of North Carolina with sustained maximum winds of 60 miles per hour. The hurricane warning remains in effect from the Tampa region to Tallahassee and parts of southern Georgia, including cities like Ocala. A tropical storm warning is active for central Georgia and western Florida. A hurricane warning has been extended to the South Carolina coast, and a tropical storm warning is in place for the southern region of North Carolina. Here is the projection of hurricane-force winds according to the GFS model. The strongest winds will impact the Big Bend region in northern Florida and the southeastern part of Georgia. Some hurricane-force winds will reach the coast and the southeastern regions of South Carolina. Tropical storm-force winds will affect much of central Georgia, central South Carolina, and the southeastern part of North Carolina. Remember that a historic storm surge event is expected, ranging from 12 to 16 feet in the Big Bend area. In some regions of Georgia and South Carolina, it could reach 2 to 4 feet above ground level. Similarly, extreme rainfall is anticipated across North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida. Rainfall totals are expected to be between 5 to 8 inches, with isolated areas possibly receiving up to 12 inches of rain. The Florida Peninsula can expect an additional 2 to 3 inches of rain throughout Wednesday. The power grid will be seriously affected, especially in northern Florida and the southeastern part of Georgia. This includes cities like Tallahassee, Cedar Key, and Jacksonville. Some regional power outages are possible in cities like Tampa, Charleston, and Savannah. Essentially, the northern half of Florida, southeastern Georgia, and southern South Carolina are at risk. It's important to remember that these tropical cyclones can trigger severe weather formation. Tornadoes and severe weather might develop throughout these regions today. That's all for this video. Unfortunately, a very challenging situation for the United States. Let's hope this cyclone doesn't cause too much damage. If you live along the Big Bend, northern Florida, or southern Georgia, please ensure your safety as the coming hours will be difficult. I hope everyone stays safe. I'll update you on this forecast later in the afternoon.